All right, welcome live from the warm up. Joining us live reaction of Game Six of the NBA Finals, Thunder Pacers. Joining us today, we got Ben in the top right. We got Kratos in the bottom. Um, Before we get into it, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, all that good stuff, so you guys never miss another live or episode coming out. Yeah, so we're here after Game Six of the NBA Finals, and a finals that I thought was gonna get wrapped up tonight. I was for sure wrong. Wasn't even close. The energy, the intensity the Pacers came out with, they played like it was the last game of the season for them potentially, and the score reflected that as well. So, I mean, how about Ben and Kratos? Talk to me. What's your guys' thoughts on the game?
Let's
Kratos, you
go,
go,
baby.
bro.
Game 7, man. We need. I need the Zaza Pachulia Game 7 Hawks meme on deck, man. This is all I wanted. This is all I wanted from when these two teams matched up. I think this is so great for basketball. I know Adam Silver. This is all he wanted too. He just wanted the longest series possible.
100%.
I don't care anything about ratings. This is just best hoops. I haven't had such enjoyment watching the finals since 2016 Cavs Warriors. These teams, I mean, like I said, I think when we did the last pod after Game 5, majority of us picked Pacers to lose this game, but they brought it back, man. And this was great. This was great. They started out slow. Rick Carlisle nipped it in the bud immediately, and from them, they punched OKC in the face. They took a jab back, and they came back with a right hook. But this is great, man. I cannot wait for Sunday.
Yeah, I watching the game, I pretty much knew from the jump in the first quarter this was going to be an interesting game. Indiana was hitting the three ball. Like I said, after Game 5, I think I said this, Jaw. I said role players play better at home, and you saw from the jump, Nemhart's hitting threes, Obi Toppin's hitting threes, Tyrese Halliburton on one leg is hitting threes, and I was just like, oh boy. Now, did I expect it to get that out of hand? Absolutely not. OKC just completely rolled over in the second half. They started to make a little bit of a run, and then they just there was nothing they could do. But I agree with Kratos. I mean, first Game 7 since 2016, and we all know how 2016 ended. It was an incredible game. So I'm so excited to see what Sunday brings, and if Indiana can bring competitiveness to the table, because it's a large task, of course, but when you get to Game 7, the lights are no brighter. So it's it's going to come down to who shines the most. It could be either team. It's going to be so interesting.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, for me, I feel like from the jump, I think for the Pacers side, just seeing Halliburton kind of forcing the issue a lot. I mean, we started over 3, over 4, but I think him just attempting and being uber aggressive helped the Pacers in the long run. And he started creating for Nemhard. Nemhard was amazing in the first quarter. You got Obi Toppin, who's just been solid this entire series. And yeah, I mean, TJ McConnell, I think, is the unsung hero. They had a little lead, and then his energy came in, and he might be the smallest player on the court, but he's for sure probably the most impactful by far. So you got to tip your hat off to the Pacers. I thought there was times during the game where OKC just didn't have that fight. They've seen those punches thrown before, and they just felt like getting their ass kicked tonight, which is fine. They felt like they had a Game 7 in their back pocket, which they do. But now I feel like they're playing with fire, especially against a team that, all year they've been the underdogs. Like this going into tonight's game, I feel like it was the most Pacers game of the year. Everyone thought they would just get rolled over. Pacers just been this, Cinderella story, quote unquote, and then they prove everyone wrong again. So I mean, I think they've only been favored 2 games this entire playoffs. So I know they won't be favored going into OKC, but I'm for sure not counting them out either.
That's right. I mean, if we're going to talk, I guess we can talk from the perspective of the favorite. For honestly, the entire 2025 season. Like as soon as OKC traded for Caruso and Hardenstein, I thought it was inevitable they would get here. And I think we kind of thought it was going to happen Indy this series. Then game 1 happens. Then game 3 happens. Then game 5 happens. But I was a little shocked at the, like you said, maybe they just didn't want to play. I was a little shocked that Dagnott seemed to go away from the adjustments they've made. Like he treated this game like it was a game 1 again.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to stop pressing as much, and they let Indiana's full court fast break game come back. They seem to move away in the second quarter and then third quarter from putting Shea in the mid post. They started putting him in deep in the low post, and then T.J. McConnell and Halliburton were picking all his passes, or they were just stealing it right from him, which is so. All of that being said, those were major changes that I don't know why they went away from what was working. And the 50-50 balls, they were losing those too. Caruso couldn't get his offensive putbacks. Chet too. He had a muted performance. But when they were down 20 going into the half, I was like, we'll see how the first 4 minutes come. And then they shot 6 straight threes. 3 of them were Lou Dort's. Each 3 was worse than the last. Crescendoing into an air ball.
Yeah.
And then their playmaking, I've never seen so many zeros across from the starters all the way to the bench. I mean, are you serious? But we'll see. This is reminiscent of when they played Minnesota, like you said, Ja. Was it game 3 they got blown up by 50 or game 4, whatever it was, just so they could go back home and win.
Well, also against Denver too. They got kind of blown out against.
I don't feel like that's going to happen this time, though. I don't feel a blowout happening to win the series. I feel this is going to be as good a game 7 as you can possibly get.
Yeah, I like what you said about the 3-pointers out of halftime. All of those were like from the same spot. Like Lou Dort shot 3 of them from the same spot. That left wing, I mean, like they just kept shooting and shooting and shooting. And then Shea would just get to the mid-range and keep shooting and shooting and shooting. Now, it's one thing for Shea if he's making that, every single time, right? But he was clearly off tonight. And for those kind of games, especially with, respectfully, the calls he gets, you got to go to the cup. And I think that was also the case for guys like Chet and Hartenstein. There was just a lack of ability to get inside. And that was really evident from the start of the game. And also Indiana's role players were just going crazy tonight. Really impressive performances from Andrew Nembhard, Obi Toppin, and most of all, Pascal Siakam. I mean, what can you not say about
him the MVP?
Yeah. I truly think he deserves it. Going into it, everybody talked about how he was the most important player on this team, and that is the truth. Yes, Tyrese Halliburton is obviously the clear star on the team, but Pascal Siakam, as far as what he can bring on both sides of the ball, is clearly the most important guy, because if he plays well and increases their chances to win, I really expect this to be a good game. I just think this is different, honestly. I agree with Kratos. I don't think this is going to be your typical blowout game 7, because I said this before, the lights are the brightest. This is the final game of the NBA season. There's no do-overs. There's no turning back. There's no first round, second round exit, run it back next year. This is it. Like, this is what you dream. This is what you dream.
Final game of the season.
This is the final game of the season. So this is kind of the moment where you're going to look at this game and go, okay, this is where legends are made. Who's going to be the legend? Is it going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or is it going to be Pascal Siakam or Tyrese Halliburton? Is it going to be Jalen Williams? This is where you have your this is where you have your moment. So dude, I'm like getting goosebumps just talking about this, bro. I'm so excited for Sunday, dude. Dude, because like I said, we've waited so long to see a game 7 in the finals. So yeah, just unbelievable. I cannot wait.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, to piggyback on what you guys were talking about with Siakam, I mean, I mean, for everything he does on offense, it's terrific. But Mark Dagnall had an awesome quote before the series started, and he views Siakam as like a mini Draymond Green, and I believe it. Like not to like defensive player of the year, but Siakam as a help defender has been such an underrated aspect of this series. I think there's just so many times Shai's going driving to the basket and Siakam's meeting him at the rim vertically, not fouling, and I think that's just such a underrated part that doesn't show up in the box score either. Like tonight's game, yeah, they hit a lot of threes, but they were getting points off turnovers. Like it was their defense. I think that they really hung their hat on, and you saw the score the way it was because of it.
Yeah, especially at the end of the second half, those last couple plays involving Siakam, there was the poster dunk, which was filthy, and then there was the
Oh, yeah.
turnaround, call it Dirk-like fade, I guess, at the buzzer. I mean, like both of those plays were results of great defense, and like even like the play before the turnaround at the end of the half to close the first half. Pascal Siakam's one-on-one defense was incredible. I don't know if you guys remember that possession. I mean, absolutely clamped Chet Holmgren. It was incredible. And defense turns into offense, and that's the story of the game. But yeah, that's just incredible from Siakam, dude.
I mean, yeah, the Pacers definitely are reminiscent of the Warriors with Curry and Green. Of course, Curry and Halliburton are the stars, but the Draymond or the Siakam in this case, they make the offense and the defense work. They can play this super fast, ultra aggressive. Every cut is live. Everybody's a threat type of style because of how seamless a fit he is with Halliburton. And defense, like when he's on the court, he just he elevates everything. He's the glue guy on their defense too. And on offense, they can consistently go to him, and they know he'll give you at worst 16 to 20 points. Every time they switch a small guy on him, they can get a contest, but he'll just shoot right over him. And whether it's Cason Wallace, Shai Gilgeous, Alex Caruso for the turnaround, it is what it is. I mean, Shai, thinking back on it, Shai definitely probably looked a little more out of sorts than I remember him being. I didn't really notice it at the time, but going back in here looking at the stats, this was the first game I thought his mid-range pull-up probably shouldn't have been the weapon he was using a lot. I thought a lot of times he could have probably floated it a lot more, and because they were disrupting his 1-2 pull-up rhythm, and that was just fueling fast breaks going on the other side. And then I remember one play where he had Siakam, this is in the third quarter, he could have just went up on his left side, but instead he's got Siakam. He brings it back to him on the right, and now he's falling on his back, shooting it. At this point, it's the third quarter. After the 6-minute timeout by Carlisle, Zach Zarba, who's the crew chief, I think, for tonight, he might have instructed his guys, so let's let this be a heavy contact game, except for Tony Brothers. Tony Brothers is a wild card. Anytime he's the baseline ref, expect the call to get boxed.
Just chaos.
Anyways, other than that, I felt like they were letting them play a lot. And I think that Shai never adjusted to that. Yeah. And, I also thought, I guess last thought on OKC, before I get into Pacers, like when Mark took the timeout after, both teams came out scoreless for the first 4 minutes, I think, in the third quarter. And then they scored a three. I think it was Nembhard from the same corner he always does. I might be remembering the game wrong. But regardless, I think he took Jay Williams out, and I thought Jay Williams was more consistent up to that point than SGA. And then after that, they made a little run, but it was over. Yeah. Sorry to ramble. But
I'll give some thoughts on Shea. One of his worst games that we've seen. Two things stand out to me on the stat sheet. Number one is obvious, 8 turnovers. That's not who he is. Yeah, and they were all costly too. I'm pretty sure that almost every last one of those resulted in points on the other end. -17 plus minus. I can't remember the last time Shea had a minus in a game. I could be wrong. I rarely see that. 7 of 15 from the field, 46%. Fairly average. Only took 1 3-pointer. Had 8 free throws. Hit 7 of them. Yeah, I mean, like offensively, he had a very chill game, if you want to call it that. But obviously, we're not accustomed to seeing Shea turn the ball over the way he controls the offense. That's just not who he is. I don't expect him to turn the ball over like that in Game 7. But yeah, and then on the other end, I think one of the other surprises of the game, especially in the first half, for me was TJ McConnell. That's another guy I forgot to mention.
Shouldn't be a surprise anymore.
What can't you say about this guy? I mean, like, this guy goes out there. He's the smallest guy on the court, but he's got the most effort. Like, he's making effort play after effort play, and not to mention, he's getting to his spot in the paint and just turning and fading every single time, and it's just splash. I'm just sitting there going, like, what's going on here? Like, obviously, it was very important Tyrese Haliburton played tonight, and I applaud the way he played. Played really good. But, man, those minutes with McConnell, you're just sitting there going, like, how is he doing this? It's very reminiscent. Obviously, like, I'm a Dallas guy. I'm a Mavs fan, so it's like I've been around for the Rick Carlisle days and all of those fun years of him being our coach. And he uses him very similar to the way that we used to use JJ Barea. Oh my gosh! I mean, like, it's actually almost exactly the way that he was used in the final. Yeah, because JJ Barea was the LeBron guy. I mean, like, the joke, LeBron. Everybody always says LeBron got cooked by JJ Barea in 2011. So, like, you just look at the way they're being used with their small size. I'm just like, dude, this is crazy. Watching the game the whole time. Shout out to TJ. Shout out to Pascal. Like I said, all these dudes stepped up in a must-win game, and they got themselves a chance to go get a ring Sunday night.
Yeah, I mean, I think at halftime they had 6 or 7 people in double figures. Like, anytime you got 6 or 7 people at halftime in double figures, you're probably not going to lose that game. No. And, like, to piggyback on that TJ McConnell point, I mean, he had 4 steals. He's the shortest man on the court. He's having 4 steals. I feel like he's kind of changed his game style for when he checks into that game. He's kind of more in attack mode, and he's kind of like a mini Energizer bunny. Like, he's getting to the rim, he's pulling up for that mid-range shot, and it's going good. Like, his mid-range shot looked just as good as Shea to me at this point. Like, I just think it's in every single time. And then you have people like Nembhard. Like, Nembhard's kind of had a rocky series. I think tonight he kind of played a decent Nembhard game, really good Nembhard game. Miles Turner, I don't know, man. I'm a big fan of yours, but this just ain't been your series, my brother. And
yeah, he's just kind of hanging in there.
Yeah, no, 100%. So
he's barely surviving on defense.
And then what makes it worse is they keep putting in Tony Bradley in, and I'm like, all these minutes are just negative to me in my eyes. Like, just run Obi and Siakam as your 4 and 5. I think that's by far your best lineup, and then go from there. But yeah, I don't know what to expect on Sunday in Game 7. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. I bet the Pacers are kicking themselves for blowing Game 4 because they would have had it wrapped up tonight. But man, it's not going to be your typical Game 7. It could be a rock fight. You know what I mean? I mean, Jalen Williams, we even talked about him. He was a -40. -40 tonight. Worst plus minus in the play-by-play era. Like,
he went from
that is nasty.
He went from scoring 40 to a -40. That's crazy.
Yeah,
we probably saw the worst 2 finals performances from certain stat perspectives back to back. Haliburton last game, and then Jalen Williams this game.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, TJ McConnell. I didn't want to interrupt you, but he's probably even better than JJ Barea, man, because he's. Not only is he scoring, it's the defense, it's the rebounding.
He's not getting picked on.
Pace he's going too, man. Yeah. I mean, like what I saw from Indiana on offense is, again, their bench showed up and the role players showed up, except Miles Turner. And I think from an offensive strategy, I didn't see as much emphasis on trying to force the pass as much. I thought a lot of their buckets were driven by individual shot creation. And then I would see weird overhelp by the Thunder. Because the Pacers didn't really have a lot of playmaking too. I think they had early 20s in the assist department.
Yeah,
it's not too much for them. So they got a lot of line drives that they actually got to the paint, which left their three ball a little more open. The pick and roll wasn't there, but like I said, OKC was sending extreme help from the corner. So Halliburton's jump pass kind of came back a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And they got some wide open corner threes that actually hit them today, as opposed to last game. And like I said, the bench. And then last thought on OKC, I think this is the least amount of free throws they've gotten in this series, at least since game one. And this is usually how they stop the bleeding on a break. Like they get to the foul line, they just keep rolling at you. But they get to the foul line, they can slow the game down, take a breather, blah, blah, blah. Then after they score, maybe they can full court pressure you, but they never had the chance to score because they couldn't. Well, they never had the chance to full court press because they couldn't score.
Right.
But yeah, you can take the wild card for that.
Yeah, yeah, man. And then, yeah. Honestly, I hope the game is refed more or less like this than
100%.
Than the last two games. I really wish Zach Zarba. I think he's one of the better refs in the league. I wish he could have made Game 7, but at least
Scott
that means
Foster will be there.
At least Tony Brothers won't be, because I think Scott is at least better than him.
I guarantee Scott's on the crew.
I love
my life on it.
Yeah, I think he will. I love the way they called it. Let the contact. Let them play through it a little bit. There were some egregious calls that Indiana initially or instantly challenged, and they got overturned. Like that one, what was it, Hardenstein that threw it up, and nobody touched the net ball returner?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, that was a bad.
And then the tech, I didn't really agree with the tech either.
The Tony Bradley and the Hartenstein.
Yeah, the biggest guy on the court flopping. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I think game to game, the reffing has been different. You could say that about all season. That's just that's just how it is. Going into Game 7, depending on who is going to be the crew chief, I think it will play a big factor. I am trying to remember, who was the ref that awarded the free throws off the jump in Game 5? Who was that? Was Scott on that crew?
No, Scott was game 4.
Scott was Game 4.
I'm trying to remember. I know exactly what you're talking about too.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna forget that.
Yeah, I know exactly the play. I forget who it was.
Yeah, my biggest ask for Game 7 is let them play. Call the egregious stuff, right? But let these boys play. It's the last game of the season, and I guarantee you, just from like a business perspective, right? When people turn on their TVs and they see Game 7, they're gonna want to watch, right? They're gonna immediately turn it off if they just see like whistle after whistle after whistle.
Yep.
I'm just saying, let these dudes play, let this play out, and it will be storybook. I'm telling you it will.
You can see such a big difference in this game. I was shocked on how fast the first quarter went through. Like I said, going back to the Foster, that was the longest first quarter of the entire series. I'm like, dude, what are these random pauses we're doing? By the way, Mark Davis was the crew chief for that game then.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, Mark Davis.
Yeah, Mark Davis. He's not bad. But
he's all right. He's 50-50.
I agree. If the game, you don't want to notice the ref. If you're noticing the refs, it's not called correctly, man.
Well, Scott, Game 7, he loved the spotlight, man. I don't want these 20 to 30 second. He's just at the scorer's table just asking random questions and all these stuff. Like in Game 4, he was at the scores table. I'm like, what are you even discussing? Like, there's no foul. You just like, I don't understand it. Like, but anyways, like, it's kind of interesting. Like in a weird way, I think just the Pacers seeing Halliburton play tonight because he was so questionable, and I was nervous because
and he played good. He played good.
Amazing. You know what I mean? And like I was nervous because the last couple of people that have played through a calf injury ended up tearing their Achilles. So I'm like, ooh, I don't know if he should be playing. Like it's a high stakes game, and he ended up doing an amazing job. I mean, I thought him defensively, besides the aggressive shot creation for him, that was the key. I mean, he had like how many steals he had?
He had 2 steals, but most important thing, he only
steals.
played 22 minutes.
He played 22 minutes, and he had like the third most points he's had this whole series. Like
on a calf strain, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
he had timely buckets.
Also the 2 days, so he's gonna be rested for sure. I mean, if he could bring that energy, I don't know, man.
I'm still shocked he played. Honestly, like
100%.
Because these calf strains, it's like depending on what grade it is, you could be out a month. I mean, like, the fact that he was able to get out there and play and look good, like at least decent
finals game
in the finals, like that's impressive. Because I told you, Ja, like on our last stream, I said in Game 6, Halliburton has to be the guy. Now he wasn't the guy because obviously injuries played out after that stream that we really didn't know were going to happen. Yeah. But he stepped up, which is still good enough for me. And I'm like,
I mean, I think he kind of was still that guy. I think just everyone seeing him playing through this injury, like he like gives like he has this weird superpower where like they really want to play for him. You know what I mean? And like you just see it tonight. And some of his shots, like he had some audacity shots. Like he took some deep threes. Like he was
every
feeling
three he made was
bit.
audacity.
You know what I mean?
He made 3 threes. Which made up for over 60% of his buckets. All of them were audacity.
Yeah,
and then
the logo
they were all timely too. And then he had some nice floaters here and there. And I thought I mean, we texted when they went down 8-2. I'm like, oh man, this is reminiscent of OG Anunoby last year. Like he's getting picked on defense immediately, and he can't even score. I think Isaiah Hartenstein. I think he switched out, and he's their worst switching defender in their starting lineup, and he couldn't even pass him. He passed it up, took the timeout, started surviving on defense. He's hard hedging. He's getting back, and like I said, the OKC's main problem on offense has always been half court, and it's always been their playmaking. They run an old school type of offense where it's just kind of a whole bunch of
Shea Cook.
Your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn. And if they set a pick, it's just to get a switch. Nobody's rolling to the basket. Yeah. So he doesn't need to worry about Lou Dort slipping to the rim and becoming like a little Bruce Brown type of guard, making plays out of it. I mean, and even when they did do that, like Isaiah Hartenstein, they would hit him at the nail. They couldn't hit anything. Like Chet Holmgren missed a dunk, and he's the biggest guy on the court. And I'm like, he just looked so shook on offense. I thought his defense was a little better, but he just looked unaggressive, and he took a step back this game too. I'm not sure. This wasn't really a good confidence game, man. And Lou Dort, we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. But
I mean, between him and Dort and Caruso. Dort was a -28, Caruso a -33. Those are your best.
Caruso took 2 shots.
You know what I mean?
2 shots.
And I don't even think Caruso needs to be an aggressive shot maker, but he just had a bad game.
Honestly,
for them though in this series, like surprisingly, like especially in Game 4 down the stretch. I mean, he's making these crazy shots.
Especially what was that game where he made that fader? I think
he
made that fader. I was like,
I agree. I think they do need it. I think they do need him because outside of Jalen Williams and SJ, they don't have anybody that can get them consistent offense. Unless there's those 2 guys are straining their defense.
I think their defense is their best offense.
Exactly.
Like the fact that they were that bad on defense. I feel like for OKC in Game 7, like if they just play the defense that we all are accustomed of them playing, it might be close, but I don't think Like
But
the
it's
Pacers have enough shot like creation and
but
the
they need
slice
to
they can get.
readjust. They need to readjust to what the Pacers did because the Pacers stopped forcing so many passes. To me, it was a lot of more uh, intentional drives by like TJ McConnell. Obi Toppin's shot was going, so there wasn't as much pass deflections for them to steal or deflect. Like that was the adjustment I think that I noticed. Like even even when it didn't work, like Aaron Nesmith had a few out of body drives on Chet. He was just and then he just got caught up. I think he traveled a couple times. But I saw a lot more aggression from guys like him and Nembhard. They just had more success getting 2 feet to the paint and then forcing overhelp.
Yeah.
Not so much trying to force it to Siakam in the pinch post because they were fronting that. And the one play Halliburton threw, it was a turnover. I think he had a short guy, maybe one of the guys up like Isaiah Joe or Wiggins. He overthrew him, and they went on the other side. And that was like the last time I remember that happening.
What do you guys expect from Game 7? Like, give me your like realistic outlook of what you think might happen in this game, and give me a solid prediction.
I think it's gonna be hell bent on OKC's defense. If you're the Pacers, you got to know a big punch is coming, and it's just how you take that punch. It's being like self-aware. You feel them going on this run. Get to the free throw line. Stop the run. Take a timely timeout. Because that atmosphere is going to be just as electric as it was at Indiana tonight. So, and OKC time and time again has fed off their home crowd. So if you're the Pacers, you kind of want it to be a fast-paced game like how it's been, because I think that's your best chance. Like, even though at the beginning of this game they were like 0 for 5 from 3, the intensity and the pace was way better than games 4 and 5 for them. So I think for the Pacers, the intensity has to be crazy. You got to be flying up and down, because I will say I'm kind of more confident in the Pacers shot making than I am in the Thunder's. And I think in a game where everyone will be tense, OKC, yeah, you could rely on that defense, but eventually somebody's going to have to make a shot. If Shea's special, I don't think that'll be enough. I think they will need a J-Dub, a Chet, or a combination of the two.
And at least 2 guys off the bench.
Yeah, at least 2 guys off the bench. Because, I mean, look at McConnell and Toppin. They've outplayed Caruso and Wiggins and Wallace and Joe. Like,
I'll tell you what, you know who's not going to be tight? The Pacers. They're
Right.
going to be punching you in the face first. This is what I see Daigneault doing. I think he's going to start the lineup that he rolled out in the second half for the first time ever, and starting Caruso over Jason Wallace, over Isaiah Joe, or whoever you want to say. I think now it's time. Start that lineup, and just see if you can, don't give Halliburton a target. Let's just put your best 2 perimeter defenders. Put one on Nembhard, put one on Hallie with Dort and Caruso. Let's see if we can get up and down, match the speed. Let's hard rotate on threes. Let's not give up threes, because they made you guys take more threes than I think you wanted to. I think the Pacers stole some of OKC's game plan, and OKC was taking more threes than they should have. Be more intentional about not just doing like 1 or 2 passes and shooting a 3.
Especially Dort. I mean, Dort,
exactly. I love the discipline. I love the discipline that the Pacers had. They're like, oh yeah, I could take this 3, or maybe I can run the 50th handoff, the DHO that you have to guard again. Let's reverse it from the left to the right. Let's just see some more intentionality. Let's not settle for open threes. Let's get Shea the ball, not in the low post. Let's get it to him in the mid post if we're doing the off-ball stuff. And when Isaiah Hartenstein comes in, let's run through him. Because he's our at this point he's our best playmaker. Because Shea and Jay Williams, they're not. I don't know. I'm not gonna say they can't do it, but they aren't doing it right now. And that's what I want. And I want to see more Isaiah Joe. I don't know why is Kendrick Williams playing so much? Why is he playing play Wiggins, play Isaiah Joe? This is crazy. Like, he's the best shooter on their team. You start Caruso, take away a few minutes from Kenrich Williams, give him to Isaiah Joe. He had 11 points in 14 minutes tonight. You need a microwave. You need a microwave for Game 7 because you guys just got punched in the mouth. They got the momentum back. They're going to your horn, going back to your court, and your fans get nervous. I think OKC's fans get nervous if this game starts
with the screen.
I'm sorry, but yeah.
So for me, I've had belief in the Pacers all postseason. It's funny. I texted a buddy of mine. He texted me right the day that the playoffs started. Shout out Davis Jordan. He asked me, he said, what are your predictions for the playoffs? Give me your wild cards. And obviously I listed OKC, Cleveland, and Boston because at that time, those were the three teams. But I also said my wild cards are the Clippers and the Pacers. I said the Clippers because I really liked what they were putting together, and they ended up being a solid wild card. But I said Indiana. And I thought Indiana was going to completely dismantle the Bucks. They did that. I picked them against the Cavs. They did that. I also picked them against New York, and they won. I did not give them a chance at the beginning of this series, admittedly, but they have proven me wrong. And I also thought it was over after Game 4, and then tonight happened. They've gotten themselves into a position where it's a one-game winner-take-all. So my keys for this game are very simple. OKC's defense will win or lose them the game. I think that is a big thing. I think the high pick and roll is a big deal for the Indiana offense. If OKC is able to cut that off, that's going to eliminate the jump shot right there, and it's going to also eliminate the corner. And obviously you can try to dump off to the big, but they crowd that paint instantly. So if they're able to get them off the high pick and roll, especially if Lou Dort is able to get through that screen or draw the foul, that's going to really change the game. That really was a big deal in Game 5. They were able to get to that high pick and roll and cut off everything. So if you're able to cut that off, OKC is going to really take over the ball game. If Indiana is able to move around that and get their offense flowing and get decent open shots from their role players, I think they have a chance. It's going to take more than Shea. I agree. You're going to need J-Dub to step up. And I also think you're going to need more great plays from Caruso. You're going to also need an unsung hero. I always think in these Game 7 situations, there's always an unsung hero that you never expect, or at least closeout games. Like Lonnie Walker with the Lakers, or I'm blanking. Even like in the 2016 game.
You need your Steve Kerr, you need your John Paxson.
Yeah. Like, I remember in 2016, Draymond Green hit, 5 or 6 threes in that Game 7? Everyone was missing. Draymond Green's out there hitting 5 or 6 threes. You're going to have an unsung hero guy. So I think whatever team wins this game, you're going to look at the stat sheet and go, wow, that dude played really good. Wasn't expected. I do think a candidate for that is probably a guy like Isaiah Joe. Aaron Wiggins has had his moments. Isaiah Joe really hasn't had his moments. So if he gets the minutes and gets the open looks.
He is ready, man. He needs more minutes.
He does. He can shoot. He can shoot. I mean, my goodness. Man, like, you got to give him more minutes.
Every time he shoots it, I think he's making it. Him and Wiggins.
Yeah.
Really.
It's pure. It's a pure jump shot. I think that's going to be a big key. For Indiana, if Tyrese Halliburton does what he did tonight, I think that will be enough. But I do think Tyrese Halliburton is going to have to play a little bit better than he did tonight. I mean, he only scored 14 points. I think you're just going to have to fill up the stat sheet. I think this is going to be a game.
22 minutes.
Do or die. It's do or die.
Yeah.
You have to.
He's going to have to play over 30 this game.
My dream for this game is that it's one of those back and forth performances, and Indiana pulls this out in the final minutes.
Game winner.
Halliburton hits another jump shot, bro. If Halliburton hits a game winner,
if he does that,
he'll be the finals MVP. That'd be it.
If he does that, yeah, because to me it's Siakam, then a gap, and then TJ and Halliburton.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Pick your poison.
For
Indy, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're straight. I'll say one more thing, then I'll let you go. I also think that this is a big game for the league. 2 small market teams made it here. I think that's a big deal. Usually, at least for the past couple of years, I think this is probably the smallest market since Suns Bucks in 2021. We've had Boston in there, Miami, Dallas, Golden State. all
It
really
might even be
big
smaller because
markets.
OKC, I think OKC might be the smallest market in the league.
Yeah,
Might
they
be
are. I
smaller.
mean, they were just. I mean, they're also the youngest team in the league. '09 was when they were founded. So, like, this is a big moment for the league. You've got two small market teams, and I feel like whoever wins this game, that conference will make a ton of moves. I think if Indiana wins, the East will the East will shift a lot because teams will realize it's like, okay, we don't. We can be a small market team and go all the way. Like the pieces are set, and
You
I
don't
think
got
the
to be the
same can be
world
said.
beater, no super
Yeah,
team. Like
I think the same can be said for the West. Obviously, the West is filled with big market teams. But I mean, if you're a team like, I don't know, San Antonio or Portland or Memphis, New Orleans, you suddenly have belief that if you put the right team together, you can get this thing done. So I think this is a big moment for the league. I truly think whoever wins this series, there's going to be ripple effects.
yeah,
My official pick, it's unpopular.
Let's do
Give me
it.
Indiana.
Woo!
that's crazy.
Wow, man. Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, oh yeah, go ahead,
sorry,
Chris.
just before you go, and then I'll share my thoughts. This, I think, is I think Silver. This is really what he wanted from this CBA. He wanted to restrict player movement and free agencies for small markets to really go crazy, to win, to prove that anybody's up. And honestly, I agree. It really started probably maybe about half decade ago when with especially with the introduction of the play-in and then this CBA.
Mhm.
Now a lot of teams think they're going to be competitive. Probably, if you look, maybe 26 out of 30 teams think they can make the playoffs next season, especially in the East with no Jason Tatum.
Oh yeah,
So,
East is wide open,
yeah,
wide open.
so
But yeah, no, I totally agree with everything you guys said. I mean, if OKC ends up losing though, I mean, I'm on the record of saying I think it's very disappointing because I don't think this is an all-time great team, but I think this is an all-time great season they're having. So for them to not come out on top with the championship, I think will be very devastating. And then, like Ben said, I think you could see the West. You're like, oh, this world beater team was this good all regular season, all playoffs, and still didn't win. Oh, I like my chances, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then also for the simple fact that we haven't had a repeat champion in the last 7 years. So if OKC even does win, like what are the chances of them coming back? I think they're higher than the previous 5 champions, but
they'll
we'll
still be the
see.
favorite.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if the Pacers have much pressure. And that's such a weird thing to say. Like it's a game 7, like Indiana, I'm sure feels the pressure, but I feel like OKC is playing with house money. Like I really think it'll be very disappointing if they don't win. And maybe that's just me underrating Indiana, but I
Oh,
just
OKC has house money, or the Indiana has house money.
OKC has house money. I think OKC is like kind of playing with fire here. I thought the way they played tonight, it wasn't a 2-point loss. Okay, we got them in game 7. This was a dominant performance by the Pacers, a team that already has confidence in themselves. Now they get even more confidence. They already beat you on their home court. And then, I don't know. And the shooting, like, they don't have good shooting variants on the Thunder. I could see a game. Oh,
Because they
Miles
don't
Turner
play.
hit 5 threes in the finals. Oh, my
Yep.
God. Nemhard is streaky hot. Oh, my God. Halliburton's calf looks amazing. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many things I think that could go wrong for the Thunder. Like, I could see, oh, yeah, Shake have 35 and they still lose. I could see J-Dub having 30 and they still lose, right?
Yeah.
So there's just so much
Where's
more
the rest of the
variance.
offense going to come from?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, like we talked about earlier, it comes from their defense. But
Mhm.
game 7 in the West in round 2 is different than game 7 of the NBA Finals. I mean,
Yeah.
so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Listen, man, Indy has the momentum. Yeah, sorry, Indiana has the momentum, and they're definitely gonna come out swinging like they always do. They only have one. They only have one gear, and honestly, this might be a mentality thing with OKC. Let's just say if they lose, I remember earlier in the season when this team behind me, best franchise in North American sports, beat them by like what 40 in like early March. And then I just remember Shea.
Right there, bud.
Yeah,
I'm playing.
I got you. And then I remember Shea saying, like essentially like we'll get them next game or something. And like I've seen that theme with these guys. Instead of trying to put the cage animal to sleep early, they just let them come back to live on, fight another day. I also see probably national media will probably come at Sam Prestity to exhaust his arsenal of picks and assets a little bit more too.
Yeah.
But we can cross that bridge after Sunday.
Yeah.
We already talked about what we think OKC has to do. What I think Indy has to do. Their bench, love it. I think Carlisle's rotations have been perfect. I never look and I'm like why is that guy still in the game? I might think like Tony Bradley. Why is Tony Bradley playing over Thomas Bryant? But as a Laker fan, I know what the Thomas Bryant experience can be. So it is what it is. Like if they had Jarris Walker, Jackson, or James Wiseman, this series might have been over already for Pacers. So if these guys can ever get healthy, but nonetheless, I think he'll keep the same rotations, and I'm looking for Turner just to have his second good game. Just give me one more. You had a good game in game one. You had almost a double-double on great shooting. Just give me something, and that'll be the variance that you need to offset anything from OKC. Because Toppin and McConnell, I believe in their consistency. I believe in Siakam's consistency. So that's over half your rotation you can rely on. And then Halliburton's going to get Nesmith and Nembhard going. Nembhard and Nesmith, they're going to be full court pressure the whole time. If they can just get either Mathurin or Turner, if they can have a good game, I think that this might swing Indiana's way. So my official prediction, I got Indiana in a one-possession game.
Ja?
My final prediction, I gotta go with OKC just because I trust the home team in a game 7 scenario.
You're so safe.
But I mean, I'm a Hallie fan, so like I would love for the Pacers to win. But just a quick question: do you guys think there's anything that's like repeatable from Game 6 that the Pacers could do to try to get a lead? Like
absolutely,
they did today?
absolutely.
Because,
everything
because they didn't have like a crazy
did.
shooting game.
Everything
like, it was just.
They've shown that they can beat you with the pass, and tonight they showed you that they can beat you with more off the dribble game.
Mm-hmm.
They can get to the paint and not shoot a million threes like they did last game. TJ McConnell, you can't stop him. Siakam, you can't switch on him. Halliburton's always going to do some nonsense and get going. And then Nembhard, once he gets into his little James Harden tween game,
Mm-hmm.
if his shot is in, it's in. And if he's in the right corner on the left side of the screen, or if he's on the close corner on the right side of the screen, he doesn't miss in those corners. All of that is repeatable. Their effort is repeatable. How hard they play is repeatable. They can do this again. They can do this again.
For me, I agree. I think this is very repeatable. I think the key in a Game 7, and not only a Game 7 in the finals, is you just got to go in there and block out the noise. You have to just go in there and play basketball. I know that's easier said than done. I think when you've made it this far and no one expected you to be here and no one expected you to even compete with this team, and you've given yourself a chance to go win a ring, you just have to block out the noise. And I agree. Beat them with the pass, get good open looks off the three, turn defense into offense, and just get to loose balls, be competitive. Somehow, just some way, if you can contain Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in any way, shape, or form, like if you can hold him under 30 with a few turnovers and the role players, if you're forcing misses, you have a chance. It's very repeatable.
I'll tell you what, my bad, Joe. They control these three things, they can win. You control the fouls. So can you take more free throws, and foul less than the other.
They had 11 free throws in the
team.
first quarter today.
Can you control the rebounds? Can you out rebound them? And then can you control the turnovers? They do those three things. They have the great chance to win.
I had one more thing. Obviously, like we've talked about the effects that this Game 7 could have, but this is kind of like a hot take question, I guess. Do you guys think that this is one of the most hard-fought rings, or do you think this is one of the best rings ever if Indiana's able to get it?
100%. And only because there's like so many factors. Like if you look at from both like paths of the finals, like we start with Indiana. Okay, we all had them beating the Bucks. They beat a 68-win Cavs team. They beat Knicks team that they weren't favored all but one game. And then on the OKC front, they're young. Like I get that they had this historic season, but we've seen it time and time again, even with the Cavs this season. Like just because you win 68, 70 games doesn't mean you're going to win the title. And so I think they've had so many trials and tribulations. Like Memphis, okay, cool. You know, I mean, that ship was sailed. The Nuggets, they played against the best player, in my opinion, in the world. And that went to 7. And they grew up in that series as well. The Timberwolves, that was shocking to me because I thought a young superstar like Ant probably would have got off more. And for the most part, he's been shut down. And then you get to the finals, it's like, okay, I think a lot of NBA heads thought the Thunder would just win by a billion. And then you just underestimate the fact that Indiana's
only
really
one guy at
good.
ESPN picked him. One guy at ESPN out of like 10. Some Asian dude named Jeremy
And it's just
Wills.
a hard. It
Shout out to
just
Jeremy
shows
Wills.
you like back to like the broader picture. Like to get this far, you need a deep team. You need a young team. You need a team that believes in each other. A team that knows all their own roles, and then you could do it. Like, I mean, this is a whole nother subject, but I don't think trading for a 37-year-old Kevin Durant is the way to your path to a ring, right? If you look at all the youth,
no, it's sustainability. It's sustainability.
I mean, dude, we were
marketing.
We were talking about these the other day. Like, imagine Joel Embiid playing 80 games
every other day. I can't imagine Embiid playing every other day. And Paul George,
not in Denver.
Fall off the
he ain't playing in Denver.
He's not playing in Denver.
No.
This is something that I think needs to be discussed. Really quickly, I'll touch on this. Like, I don't know if we've talked about this, but like I personally feel this way. From a Western Conference standpoint and even just a mental standpoint, I think this is a make or break it game for OKC. Like I really do. Like I look at their future. You've got a lot of draft picks. You have a lot of pieces, right? Sam Presti's put you in a great place. But we're about to have the most stacked Western Conference ever next year. And like we say this every year, but it's true. It continues to get better. Like the Lakers are not going anywhere. The Timberwolves are not going anywhere. The Dallas Mavericks are not going anywhere. The Clippers probably not going anywhere either. I'm forgetting so much. Like Golden State still got Steph and Jimmy.
Pelicans didn't make it. The Trailblazers almost made a run.
The Denver Nuggets. San Antonio's about to like take off next year.
They might be the 4th seed next year. They might.
Yeah. I mean, like
mess around
this West. Like I think there's probably 2 teams that I think could miss the playoff next year. I think Utah's probably a lock to miss the playoffs. And depending on what New Orleans does with their roster, they're probably a lock to miss the playoffs. I think Portland's a wild card. Chauncey Billups, they keep continuing to get better and better. We'll see what happens with them. There's one team, Houston. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen to Houston. If they get KD, they'll be competitive. I'm just saying, like,
no.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, sorry. I forgot about the Suns. They're not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I think the only way they would make the playoffs is if they offload KD and they're able to surround them with some decent core. But like, we're getting off subject. But like, my point is, this is big for OKC because you got a lot of teams that are going nowhere, and you're in a Game 7 situation with a chance to get a ring. So it's like, you don't want to have to go all the way back and do this again because it's going to be tougher. It's going to be a lot tougher.
Totally.
And as young as they are, you're not guaranteed to come back. I mean, look at when they had when I first started watching basketball, and the first team I claimed was OKC. Well, I thought when we had KD, Harden, and Westbrook, oh yeah, we're definitely gonna be back. They ain't been back since now, so it's like you can't take it for granted at all.
Yeah.
And I hope I like if OKC does end up losing, I don't know where they go from here because it's like Sam Presti built these great teams, but like they're just still not good enough regardless of the time and place. So it's like it's kind of scary if you're Presti too. You're like, I have this all-time team. You're not guaranteed to come back. I mean, Chet has had 2 major injuries to start his career. This is the first year. I mean, he was hurt even this year. He's lucky he came back. Like you're not guaranteed to come back.
It's like you said, you're not guaranteed to be healthy. Like you look at some of these NBA rosters getting ravaged with injuries. That may not end your season, but your regular season is going to be a mess.
I mean, look at the Celtics last year. When they won, we're like, oh my God, they have this all-time team. Then Tatum
tears his Achilles.
You know what I mean? You just don't know.
Yeah.
You
just don't know. So it's like that's why I'm saying like this is it for OKC. Now, if you look at the Indiana side, like at this point, if you're an Indiana Pacers fan, you obviously want to win on Sunday, right? But you got to be so happy you've gotten here. Man. You competed in the NBA Finals, so it's like this is a big moment for them. But I think Indiana is going to be around for a little while. Now, obviously, the same applies to them. You're not guaranteed to come back, but the East is more wide open than the West, and I think that's a generally known point. But you're playing with house money. You've earned the right to be here. You've worked for it. Go get it. Go get the ring.
And I thought that's what they would have done tonight. I mean, I just thought knowing history is kind of on their side, but just go put the nail in the coffin. You know, I mean, I thought they were the better team, but maybe they're not. And then so we'll see on Sunday, like the type of energy that they'll bring. And I feel like we'll learn a lot about each team in the first quarter because if the Pacers come out how they did today, like their hairs are on fire, like this is really it. Like they played today, I kind of lean towards what you guys were saying with the Pacers.
So, one, to answer your question about what the fallout of Game 7 will be, win or lose for OKC, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. Oddly enough, I think that there'll be more media attention on OKC if they lose, and it'll be directed at Sam Presti to a level. It'll be directed to him in a level that he's never experienced before, even though he's regarded as one of the best executives in the league. There'll be pressure for him to, like I said, maybe trade for another star like Giannis. Like forget OG Anunoby last year or Gordon Hayward the year prior. Like what I do think he would do is he might try to flip a guy for another veteran around 30 or younger, maybe. But then there'll be more.
They should have traded for Cam Johnson this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe. I could see that. I could see that. And then I also think that this will be the most scrutiny that their big three, quote unquote, will have also. I think this because their mentality really hasn't been called out. But I think if you look at February, March to now, how they can come out flat for some games just because they know they don't have to kill you now. That might get called out a little more too. But they're still the best team in the league in terms of future positioning. They have the best understanding of the CBA. And honestly, I wanted to say they had the deepest team, but I think the Pacers have proven they have a deeper team because they have 3 guys that they trust to play 20 minutes, and OKC doesn't. But yeah, this team is still young, and they have their contracts staggered in a way that they can continue to be good for the remainder of this decade. And to answer your other question, what do I think this does for what does it mean for the league? I guess it means that you can take the slow like Indiana's I think the only team that I've never seen tank properly or decide to tank. Their lowest pick their highest pick was it Mathurin or Jarris Walker? And
it was Mathurin.
Yeah, I think Mathurin was 7. And
it turned out good for them too.
Yeah, and what this proves is that you can have one coach consistently. I do think Carlisle has out-coached Dagnott. I think the gap is a little bigger than I thought it would be. It's not massive, but he's won a championship before. He's been there before. That experience has proven to be more valuable than I think I thought it was. Because I thought Dagnott, you know, I thought I think he's one of the best young coaches in the league too. And then, like you guys said, you know, this will show other teams that the super team era is officially over. It was already over, but now it's officially over. Get you guys that are on great contracts, because Neesmith's on he signed like a 3-year, $33 million contract. They salvaged Obi Toppin's career, because if it didn't work out here, he might be out of the league.
I mean, they got Obi for 2 seconds.
Yeah. And the trade they just made for kicking their pick to next year, they just replenished their picks for Pascal Siakam, who's another guy that was given up on by the team that he was another guy that was given up on by the team that trained him. He's improved late in his he's been a great development story, and he's taken his game to another level here. You know, so if it's a copycat league, if they're going to copy these two teams' formula, you know, I love it. I think whatever coach takes the timeout first, that's what I want to see. Who's going to blink first?
That's a good point.
Who's going to blink first?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
You know, and I really want to see what these starting lineups are going to be, man. This is going to be a great game.
Do you guys think? Last thing, then we'll wrap it up. You know, Indiana's had this crazy fluid lineup and rotation all year. Do you think there's any chance that like it's shortened in a Game 7 scenario, or you just trust what got you there?
I think no. I think if you're Rick, you got to stick with the guys that got you there. Continue to replenish that lineup, get fresh bodies in the game. I think you got to continue to play the same amount, because if you change what's working, especially in a Game 7, it's going to freak everyone out. I feel like,
totally
especially in an atmosphere like OKC, you don't want to change what's working. I think if you were in a different scenario and this was like, you know, a 3-1 series and you had to get a win, or a 3-0, sure,
Yeah.
But you've done the work, you've gotten here. Don't change anything.
Totally
To your point too, I think sorry, Chris. Let me just say this and I'll let you go. To your point too, I can see OKC. Okay, Shea, you're playing 40 minutes. Oh, J-Dub, you're playing 48 minutes. And I think that'll be to their detriment, because
that would be a mistake.
Because the pace isn't going to change in a Game 7. They might turn up the ball over more, but the pace won't change. So if you have Shea, like if it's a close game, like you guys said earlier, and the pace is still going up and down fast, that favors the Pacers too, because OKC, I think they're gonna tighten the rotation more than they've already have, and I think they'll get tired. Like we saw Shea tired in Game 3, and then even in Game 4, he got subbed down the first 2 minutes, didn't come back into the second quarter. So that's interesting.
Yeah, man. So that's what I was gonna say. Your question was, do I think there should be a change? I was gonna say no for Indiana, yes for OKC. Like I said earlier, I think Rick has mastered his rotations to a degree that I've probably never really seen a coach have. So I don't want him to touch that at all. Like, you know, a more I don't want to say inexperienced coach, but it would be the wrong move to say, okay, TJ, you're playing 30 minutes today. You're playing 30 minutes. I don't want to see that. Keep the guys you got playing around 25. The only thing I could see more is maybe give Siakam another minute or two, maybe.
What about Hallie?
Maybe don't play. Oh well, yeah. I was gonna say Hallie next. You know, maybe don't play. Maybe 3. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of Ben Sheppard. I'm sorry. I have no idea. I thought he was a better player last year. But yeah, you can take a few minutes away from Ben and give those back to Hallie, and then maybe Tony Bradley's one stint. You can just give that to Siakam instead. Yeah. For OKC, I want to see less Kenrich Williams. I want to see a little more Chet. I want to see Chet near 30, not over 30, I think. And I want to see Isaiah Joe take the balance of those minutes.
I want more
to see. That's what I want
Wallace.
to see. Yeah, Wallace went from starting to barely getting 3 stints.
Yeah.
What a fall from grace. So, yeah, I want to see if Crusoe finally starts.
Yeah.
Might have to, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, yeah, I think we got a couple announcements to wrap up, but just final predictions. I got the Thunder in Game 7. Ben,
Pacers.
Kratos.
Pacers in a close one, in an all-time.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And,
So
and if they do
we'll
it,
be
this will be the greatest chip, man, of this decade.
yeah.
Maybe this.
Yeah, we'll be live to react to it on Sunday. We got a couple announcements Ben would like to announce. Ben, I'll let you take it away from here.
All right. Like you said, we will be live on that day. First thing we want to promote, the Sports Business Classroom. Myself and Ja will be there. If you guys want to register for this, if you have any interest in switching careers from whether you're an engineer or a finance major or whatever major you're in, if you want to make the switch to a career in sports, specifically business or basketball, this is the program for you. You can sign up at www.sportsbusinessclassroom.com. There are 9 spots available as of today, according to the website. Like I said, myself and Ja will be there. So if you decide to sign up, try and find our contact. We can connect with you or whatever it takes. But we just wanted to promote that while we're here. And like we said before, we will be live on Sunday after Game 7 of the NBA Finals to give you our full reactions to that and what that means for the future of the NBA. But also on Wednesday, June 25th, we got a very exciting event coming up. This will be our draft night live stream. We are going to be live from start to finish, reacting to every single pick, every single trade, the chaos. It's just going to be a fun time to chill and hang. We'll do some talking, but at the end of the day, we're all just going to be watching along and just kind of hanging out. So if you have any requests to try and join the stream or you want to like or subscribe, leave comments. We'll try to maybe have some fun stuff mixed in there, but I would 100% recommend that you guys pull up to see where the kid from Duke goes, to see where Dylan Harper goes and Edgecombe and all these other really great NBA talents. So definitely pull up for that. Once again, Wednesday, June 25th.
Yeah, so that'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for hanging out with us after Game 6. We'll be live, like Ben said, on Sunday after Game 7. Please like, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, comment, do whatever. Until next time, peace.
Have a good one.
Peace.